Hey crew, I've got the key to this 25 Cadillac Escalade V, and today we're going to see what it's like to live with, starting with remote start. Good morning, neighbors. Ah yes, and after that delightfully rousing startup, any of your neighbors who weren't already awake certainly will be now. Anyway, let's check out the spacing in my driveway, which is 16 feet wide by 19 and a half feet long. I've got the Escalade parked just a couple inches in from the edge, sitting next to a new Land Rover Range Rover that both Mobile Mama and I are reviewing. We took this one on a road trip, in fact. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. That one is parked also very close to the edge, and you do need that kind of spacing to have enough room to walk between the vehicles. Both vehicles do have power folding door mirrors. That does help. We were able to get our trash cans through on trash day, not a double wide stroller though for our kiddos. The nose of the V is actually hovering over and extending into the street a little bit of the gutter at the front of my driveway, and at the back that was necessary to have room to walk in, oh my gosh, to walk in front of the hedge on the path to my front door. And before I hop in, I'll mention that yes, you can use remote start just to elicit exciting V8 noises, but primarily it's going to cool or heat the cabin before you start your day. And when hopping in and the key fob is on me, I just press on the keypad and it's going to automatically open the door and pause before hitting obstacles, like in this case, the Range Rover. It will also deploy the running board, and with the air suspension lowered and this access height, I have this grand and easy entrance into the cabin. And I don't have to close the door behind me because I just put my foot on the brake and it will gently soft close. Hey cabin crew, thanks for joining for this day in the life in the 25 Cadillac Escalade V. And I've already done a day in the life in the 25 Escalade, but not the V, so I want to focus on that supercharged V8 and what that brings to daily life with this SUV. And though the vehicle is on, to actually drive it, I will need to press the start-stop button with my foot on the brake. And after those chimes, let me show you where I would stick the items I bring with me every day, like my iPhone 15 Pro that can sit on this wireless charging pad. Then in the side cubby, I've got my sunglasses because there isn't dedicated storage up above, but this area is felt lined, so I'm not worried about scratching the lenses. Then in the door pocket, I fit my 32-ounce water bottle with ease. And in this center console, which actually doubles as a fridge, I've not turned on the fridge and I just have my GoPro accessory case, not getting too cold. So storage space inside the Escalade V is tremendous. It's gonna have all you need for all your stuff. Throwing on my belt here, I'm gonna pull the gear selector down into drive. That is going to not release the parking brake. I have to do that myself, which is a bit odd. I thought that would automatically release. Then rolling forward here, there is that clearance issue for low vehicles, but even in the low access height, the Escalade V still has plenty of ground clearance. Then turning the steering wheel, am I going to clear the trash cans on trash day? Yes, by quite a ways actually. And the first thing to think about, especially with that startup, with the supercharged V8 and the freer flowing exhaust, is that this vehicle will make more noise getting out of your neighborhood than the standard Escalade, but it doesn't have to, because if you hit this button here, the mode button, and then you select, oh right, yeah, I have to keep pressing this physical button here before I then can go into my mode and then use the touchscreen. It's an interesting combination to customize these different settings, like the engine sound, which I have set to stealth. That is going to close up the baffles in the exhaust and make it much, much quieter. And while the engine note is taking it easy, I'm also relaxing with my massaging seat that has a few different options to choose from, and they're all decent. The problem is that it does time out after a little while. I want it to just stay on until I turn it off manually. And it's only the back cushion. I wish it was also the bottom cushion. That's the full massage in my book. And these seats are heated and ventilated, so regardless of temperature, I am comfortable. And there's my favorite feature, steering wheel heating. Though I wish this had multiple stages of heating so I could have it at a low level, even if it wasn't super cold outside, because I just love the warmth of the steering wheel. Before we make it too far down the road, I want to listen to the turn signal sound. You'll be using that a lot. And you'll hear that classic GM horse at a gallop. Click-clonk, click-clonk, click-clonk. And let's see about the turning radius. I'm just going to pull out into the intersection a little bit before I fully turn the wheel. And my goodness, friends, full-size, body-on-frame, 3-row SUV turns around like a mid-size crossover. So good, this turning circle. Now, what if someone is acting recklessly on the road? They need a horn beep like you wouldn't believe. What is yours going to sound like in the Escalade V? Ooh. Punchy. That's going to get their attention. They will change their behavior. Mark my words. Now, how I've set things up in the My mode, the responsiveness, the driving dynamics of this SUV are on the more relaxed end. So, though we have 682 horsepower, getting up to speed is, yes, easy to do, but it's not going to overwhelm you with the power, with the sensitivity of the throttle. And then with the braking feel set to Tour, it's so nice to come up to a smooth stop. No lurching forward at the final resting position. And speaking of position, for me at 6 feet tall, the adjustability of this seat and the steering wheel give me a terrific driving posture. I've got so much headroom above. I can pull out the steering wheel as far as needed for a comfortable place for my hands to rest. And it really is restful from behind the wheel because the ride quality, even on this chewed up road surface and 24-inch wheels, is just terrific. The adaptive dampers and the air suspension filter out all that junk before it gets in through the chassis, through to my seat. Oh, it's so nice. This is such an imposing looking machine. The big flat surfaces, the giant grille, and yet none of the muscular look is felt by the passengers. It's just luxury. And for something you're gonna want to daily drive, yes, you want the visual presence. Yes, you want the power. And it has those things in spades, but it also treats you nicely. I love that combo. In fact, the only critique I would have in terms of comfort would be for the seats. As I said, they're very adjustable. I found a comfortable posture, but I just got out of that Range Rover putting over 1,000 miles on it on a road trip, and the seats were my favorite part about it. They were just plush, yet supportive. These are a little on the firmer side, though the leather itself is very soft. Now I'm off to grab some coffee. And yes, it will be decaffeinated as usual because I just generate enough natural caffeine. I don't need additional supplements. But you know what would give me some perk without the caffeine perk? That would be a bit of passing power from V mode. So let's see what we have. Oh, that overrun. Oh, it's better than coffee 300 times over. Yes, you are gonna have, wow, plenty of passing power and plenty of acoustic theater to complement. Anywhere you want to go, you just put your foot down and forget how heavy this thing is. You just go, you get there, and you enjoy every second of it. Now let me dedicate just a second to talking about visibility. This is a large vehicle. For your confidence level, you need to be able to see out of it easily because those dimensions could otherwise be a problem. Well, forward-facing, I don't really have any problems at all. It's a nice large windshield and the A pillar isn't too thick. The B and C pillars are getting bigger, but really only the C to D pillar could be a blind spot problem with that headrest in the second row up. As you can see, it does fold when no one's in there. That's great. But yeah, that can be a problem. Thankfully, we do have blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic. And when you need to see straight out the back, if there is anything obstructing your view, like luggage or people, you can put on the digital rear view mirror and see right through that. So I think the visibility for this class of SUV is quite good. And now I'm gonna try a new coffee shop. New, not nude. I don't know why, but in my head when I said that, it sounded like nude. Everyone is clothed at this new coffee shop, Phoebe Coffee. And that is gonna give me a chance to park this bad boy. So I'm going to, of course, reverse into a space using the high-res camera system and the bird's eye view and trajectory lines and that excellent turning circle to negotiate into this parking space. Instead of the audible parking sensor sounds, like in most vehicles, you get a vibration in through to your seat that I'm feeling now and is getting more pronounced to tell me that I'm here. And there we go. Iced decaf latte with a bit of sweet cream and cinnamon on top just for fun. And the staff are really friendly here, so as long as the coffee is good, I think this place is gonna be a hit. Now looking at the V, which is in this Aegean, little light signature welcome, I like that. This Aegean Stone color, it's a grayish green that's different from what I see Escalades, always in a cream or a black or maybe even a red. This is a unique color, and it goes really well with the blacked out details that bring down some of the wow factor of the grille and even the dark gray painting of these 24-inch wheels. The red painted calipers do offset it a little bit, and the V badges. It looks more on the stealthy side, but still sporty. I dig it. And though I am parked next to someone else in this space, they're so far away that the door can swing almost fully open without touching them, and I have the grandest of entrances. And put my coffee in one of the 2 cup holders, which do have these arms that come out to hold it semi-securely. Really, it's just that it's in a deep basin, so that isn't gonna slosh out, and it's high enough that I can grab it once again. Oh, that's nice. Touch of sweetness, rich in flavor with the decaf. That is a win. I will be back here very soon. Following that refreshing beverage, I need to make a run here to Costco. And now that I have parked, rather than open my own doors, I'm just gonna slide this icon right here and let the Escalade do it for me. Oh, please, hold your photography. Now, this isn't my biggest Costco run ever, and it would have to be to fill up the back of the Escalade. What I wanna see today is how this is going to fit behind the 3rd row of seats. And that is an important question, because if you have a big family utilizing car seats in the 3rd row, it's not so easy to put those in or take them out. And one downside to having a body-on-frame SUV is that there isn't really storage space underneath the floor. I could stick the stakes back here, but that's about it. But it doesn't matter, because there's so much room, it's like I didn't even try to fill it. It fits. Oh, and if I forgot to put the butter in, I don't have to lift up the whole tailgate. I can just pop the glass. And after returning my cart, like a responsible shopper, I can confirm that the Cadillac Escalade V is most definitely Costco approved. Now I'm feeling hungry for lunch, and that's always more fun with company, but Mobile Mama is away on business, so instead, I'm gonna pick up my Pops, who is in town. Hey, Pop.
Fantastic to be with you.
Oh, it's your first time in a video with me. We've had Mom in the car at least a few times. Your first time.
Yeah, it is.
And I thought this one was appropriate for you because you've got an extensive history with GM, both yourself and even your dad.
Oh, yeah.
Right, didn't he have a Cadillac?
He did, yes.
Which model did he have?
One of the DeVilles. And he got T-boned at an intersection by a 18-wheeler, breaking a collarbone, but he survived because the car was like a tank.
Survived a semi-truck.
Semi.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
That's when cars were made like tanks.
That's exactly right.
And that one had plaid seats, right?
It did. It was a yellow exterior and plaid interior. And as a matter of fact, your mom told me the other day she saw one of those vehicles and thought, oh my God, it's a throwback to Irwin.
Yes, it is. And then you kind of followed in the GM footsteps.
Oh,
you got a Camaro, right?
Oh yes. So my first real fun car was a Camaro. And I drove the heck out of that thing. I don't think I gave it...
That was in college, right?
Yes, in college. I don't think I gave it an oil change for like 150,000 miles. It just kept going and going. And it was so powerful.
All the car guys were like, oh no.
Oh no, I know.
But you like to drive. He doesn't care about the maintenance or, necessarily like making sure it's beautiful on the outside. He likes to drive. He was always the lead
I
foot
had
in
a
our
need
family.
for speed.
Yes,
which,
you did.
Moved me into, when I was later able to afford it, I got a Corvette.
That's right. You had a C5.
Yes, and then I had the next
The
generation
C6,
as well.
yes.
And
Black with the manual.
Yes,
Which was actually a mistake, right?
It was.
He wanted to buy the automatic.
Yes.
And they shipped him the manual.
Yes.
And you ended up loving it.
Oh, I loved the manual. I thought, man, now I can really drive myself through those gears and feel the torque. It was incredible.
I loved it just as much. Whenever you give me a chance to drive with you, that was...
Well, Miles, I don't know if you remember, when you were a little guy, you used to get in the area behind the front seats in the C5, in the red
yes, I remember
and
that.
You would peek your little face out and see where we were going. Of course, it wasn't legal to have you
Not
back
legal,
there,
but it's okay.
But it was so much
STO
fun.
right there.
Yeah, oh my.
It's a wild-looking yellow.
Really
on
is.
that STO. That car is so much fun to drive, by the way.
Oh,
but yes, I do remember that, along with your golf clubs.
Yeah.
I would sit back there with your golf clubs, and we would roll around.
Yeah, it was
Do
fun.
not repeat. Don't do that. But that was awesome.
But one of the things that became my standard for my life whenever I got into a Corvette is that I would say to myself, if I haven't driven over 100 today, I haven't lived. So
I'm talking about lead foot.
I started doing that. But, well, the first ticket I ever got was driving actually a Ford Torino.
Okay.
And
Also awesome car.
It was, and I drove it. My mom was a speed demon too.
Was she?
She had a Corvette. She had a gold T-top Corvette.
I forgot this.
Yeah, and so she
My
got
grandma
it.
was awesome.
I used to wash it for a doctor friend of ours.
Okay.
And that was my job. I'd go there every Saturday and wash the car and dry it off. And my mom loved this car so much she offered to buy it from our doctor, and so he sold it to her. And she would drive that thing. She had a need for speed, and she gave that feeling to me. And so, as I said, my first ticket I ever got was going 110 on the freeway.
At that time, wouldn't you just sort of outrun the cops at that point? Because they're not. What are they driving?
The cop that pulled me over said, "Son, get out of that car." He said, "You know how fast that goes, boy?" I said, "No." He said, "You were going 110 the whole way."
Oh my God.
Got me out of there. He goes, "Well, son, I'm just going to write you up for 100 plus. That way you won't go to jail."
Oh, jeez. Cut you some slack there.
Yeah, I did. So.
Well, we're not going to do 100 today, but we could have a little bit of fun if you want.
Listen.
Shall we?
Oh, yeah. Ah, yes. That's the feeling. That's it.
I love that it just kind of sits back on its haunches. It feels like I'm looking at the
Sets you
sky.
up. Yeah.
But that noise is from a supercharged V8 making 682 horsepower.
Oh,
you know, I had that same engine in my Blackwing, which you got to experience, right? Once?
Oh yeah, the
At least once
Blackwing
or twice.
yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, so now it's in an Escalade, which is kind of crazy. And you also have a history with GM trucks because you had Suburbans, and then you had
absolutely.
You had the Denali, the Yukon XL Denali as well.
Yes, I did. I truly enjoyed the platform.
None of them perform like this.
No. Although you could stomp down on it and it would get up.
It was a
and go.
V8.
It was a
yeah,
V8.
Ford.
I did really enjoy that vehicle because I was a sales representative at the time, and then later a manufacturer.
Yeah.
And so I had to carry a lot of samples around with me. And
Pure utility.
everything fit into it.
We put beds in it.
I could put 4 twin mattresses in that thing and get it to my customers. Yeah, I was a mattress manufacturer.
I actually rode on one of the beds at some point in time when you were doing a delivery. And there's a lot of stuff where I wasn't necessarily belted in, do not repeat, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of fun.
Well, so I thought this would be great for you because this is the latest iteration of the fanciest GM.
It is the most impressive
body on
I've
frame.
ever been in. I cannot believe this front. It's the dash.
You've got your own screen. I can't see it over here for safety, but there's a screen. If I
I'm
lean
looking
over,
right at it.
then you have that. You can watch Netflix or whatever while we're taking our
Hulu.
cruise. And this will actually drive itself on the highway with the Super Cruise system.
Wow.
I mean, we've got carbon fiber. We've got leather
the way
seats.
that this has got its stepped front is so beautiful, actually, because you can see the carbon fiber and and it's a well designed.
That grandeur, the depth, I think, as we discussed
and the
earlier.
seating is great. I love the ventilated seating, ventilated leather.
Yep.
And so
it's got a massage for you as well.
Oh,
If I put
really?
That on, hang on. That's mine. Here, let's turn on yours.
Okay.
Massage for the passenger, and give you a little bit of that.
Yes, you can feel it right away. Oh man, this is a level of luxury I've not experienced before.
It's pretty great. I mean, I will say, this platform for GM has gotten quite expensive.
Well,
so I mean, your Bourbons were, I don't know what the equivalent would have been, you know, like $60,000.
Yeah,
probably equivalent, right?
Yeah.
Today's dollars. This is $160,000.
Oh my.
Yes.
Oh
but
my.
I will say, all the stuff we're experiencing is standard. None of these things are options. The only option on this truck is the Aegean Stone paint job. $600. Like, everything else is standard.
The thing that are very impressive to me is that all the places where your body would be touching.
Yes.
It's such a wonderful upgrade in thoughtfulness.
Got, like, leather up here. This is a fabric material.
Yeah, the hand stitching, all this stuff are you know, the chromed latches, everything that are, you know, that your body sees or touches.
You got harder plastics down low, but to your point, it's not what you're touching. Like even my knee brushing up against that would be fabric.
Exactly.
That's not hard plastic. It's really just down here on the door panel. My one complaint about this area is, one, gloss black here, right? It looks fine for half a second, and then it's smudged, it's scratched, and it just looks dinky. I do think they've improved the quality of their little controls. Like, this used to feel so cheap on the, even just a year ago's Escalade, and now it actually feels substantial. This button for the hazards is a big problem. Anytime I've put anything just to rest for a second, I've turned on the hazards.
So I'm like, it.
They really didn't focus group that one, because that gets hit all the time. So that wasn't the best idea, but I feel like everything else was really well thought out. And to your point, it just feels high end. It feels worth the $160K, as crazy as that is to say. Should we get lunch?
Oh, sure, let's do it.
But not before. Another blast off.
Oh, jeez. I love it. Love it.
Oh, it's so good.
Yes, it is.
We're going to hop in here to one of our favorites, Board and Brew specialty sandwiches. And we are here. But wait, don't open your door just yet. I'm going to do that for you.
Oh, this is the lazy man's way.
Is that cool or what?
I love it. Oh, and it opens up very nicely for an old, slow guy like me.
All right, Sammy's are here. Whoa, and the napkins are flying. Oh, the cheese coming off.
The cheese pull.
That pastrami, that's what I usually get, but I just went with a Baja chicken.
Oh, delicious. A little lighter.
A little lighter, yeah. All right, cheers, Pop.
All right, thank you.
Yummy. I am full.
Me too. Listen,
You've got your leftovers. Yeah. Should we get the climate just right for us?
Oh, sure. That allows you to do so. Why not cool it down? Ah, I heard it. It's hard to miss that rumble.
Now, before I go collect the younger generation, I wanted to talk through accommodations in the second and third rows. We'll start with space. For me, it's 6 feet. Behind my own seat, I've got knee room aplenty, foot pocket room, and adequate thigh support. Headroom up above is solid, and there's a suede wrapped headliner with air vents up top. That's key for kids in car seats, especially rear facing ones. In the center, I've got a third zone of climate. I think there should be 4 for this money. And heated seats, not heated, and vented seats. Again, I think that feature should be here. Down low, I've got cup holders, 2 USB-C ports, and 2 HDMI ports. On the doors, I was expecting sunshades, whether manual or power. Those aren't here. I just have tinted windows, power one-touch up-down windows, and the same mix of carbon fiber, leather, and some fabric for the inserts. And I can't forget this thick, comfy armrest and the grab handle to get up and in. To get to the third row, I can either pass through the captain's chairs, or I can pull on this lever once and then twice for it to tilt forward and give me a great access point to the back seats. And when I return this seat, it isn't going back to the position it was in before. It's actually slid forward a bit, and here I would have great legroom, but this seat is kind of to match where that one was, and I can still fit. My knees are just grazing against the back of the seat, and I've got headroom back here. I also have air vents up top and a USB-C port with a little bit of padding for my arm. What I don't get is heating for this third row or a recline of any type, both of which would be welcome, but at least the leather is just as soft as the second row. So while backseat passengers do get some goodies, they're nowhere near as many as the front. And as for kids in car seats, there are 5 top tethers, 1 for each seat, but only 2 sets of lower latch anchors for the captain's chairs. That cuts down on placement options a bit. Thankfully, installing the car seats is easy because the doors open almost 90 degrees and the cutouts are huge. Legroom, yeah, Talia's gonna have plenty. And for Mobile Mama up front, with the car seat behind, yeah, she'll be happy. The Escalade V is family approved, which is good because we've got tennis lessons for Tali.
Yeah! I have soccer.
You have soccer? Romy, your soccer isn't today, it's on Friday. They're very excited about their sports. And they were just remarking that even though the Escalade is super wide, they can still touch each other, right guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can still reach?
Well, it's kind of hard because we have to stretch our body.
You gotta really stretch.
Stretch!
Yeah, because it's a big vehicle, right? But you love all this space, huh, Tali?
Yeah. On the other car that had a screen,
Yeah?
it didn't go by itself.
Didn't go by itself. Oh, that's...
I could push it, but I still couldn't reach.
Oh, that's true. And that's actually an interesting point. Talia, you bring very critical analysis to this situation. I love that. Can I reward you with something?
What?
How about a little bit of this? Do you like that noise?
Yeah.
I think earlier she called it, what was it?
It was so beautiful.
Beautiful? It was a beautiful sound?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I have to agree with you. Romy's chuckling now too.
Romy loves it.
She loves it. It's a family affair. So, if I can summarize Talia and Romy, you guys like the Escalade V because of the space, because of the screens, and because of the sound. Yeah?
Uh-huh.
Checks out. Ooh, do you like all the pops?
Oh, yeah. Like popcorn.
Yes. All right, guys, we made it to tennis. Let's get ready to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was so good, Tali. You played really well. And now, after all that hard work, you deserve. We should all take part in a reward. So, do you want to do the honors?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Google, take us to In-N-Out.
There's a In-N-Out burger 0.7 miles away. Navigate to that one?
Yes.
We made it! Let the deliciousness begin! Lettuce wrapped or not. Thank you, God, for this food. Are we happy, guys? Yeah! Today I'm diving into performance and some practicality in the V, starting with a real-world 0 to 60 test. I've got my race box set up here to record. I'm entering the V mode. Foot is on the brake for some brake boosting. Holding, building, letting go. And there's 60 in 4.77 seconds. That is certainly quick enough for something this size. And the sound! Ah! But getting up to speed is one thing. What if you need to slow down very quickly, like an emergency, doing 60? Oh. Wow, that was really good. Like, it didn't nosedive too heavy or wag uncontrollably. It just stopped. Now let's talk about the V as a commuter vehicle. I've already shown that there is plenty of passing power, but how quiet is it on the highway? Well, on this uphill, I do need partial throttle so I can hear a bit from the Supercharged V8. On that louder road noise, I did get some more tire hum, but not a whole lot. And the big blocky shape isn't doing the Escalade any favors in terms of wind buffeting. It's growing a bit more as the speeds are picking up. Now it's 70. By myself, not too big of an issue. If I needed to speak to people in the second or third row, though, I wouldn't just rely on my voice. I have this passenger talk option. And what's cool is that it's not just carrying my voice through the speakers to them, they can also have their voice carried back to me. So while it's not the quietest luxury SUV I've ever driven, it's not so loud as to ruin your zen, which will be established by the driving assistance features. We've got Super Cruise, one of my favorite things in GM products. It's now filtered all the way down into some Chevys. This is full-on hands-free highway driving. I have used Super Cruise for hundreds of miles at this point on road trips, and I love it. And if you were going to commute in the Escalade V, you would too, for all of the 3 years that they include as free. After that, you do have to pay for a subscription. And while you are super cruising around slower traffic, you may want to listen to some music. And the Escalade V has as standard a 36-speaker AKG reference sound system that we are going to hear via the wireless Apple CarPlay. Yes, even though GM is kind of getting rid of CarPlay in a number of their other vehicles, they still have it here in the Escalade, and I'm thankful for it. It takes over most of this big screen, and in terms of how this screen works, by the way, it's fairly responsive. I wish the icons had a little more distinction to them. They're a bit uniform, so that could add to a little bit of distraction if you're looking for something specific. But if you didn't want to touch the screen, you could use the controller down here, which works very well. But anyway, let me get my tunes going here, and I'm going to use the physical volume knob, glad that is here, to turn up the volume. Looks to be, boy, I can't even get to 50% before it's maybe too loud. All right, we'll go right up there to what looks like 50%. Skip ahead a little bit. Yeah, that is a superb sound system. For one, there's so much wattage here. I didn't have to raise it past 50% while doing 74 on the highway, and I could hear, well, as much as my ears could tolerate of the incredible thump of bass, the clarity. I could distinguish the tones and the frequencies and the sounds very clearly throughout the range. I love this sound system, and the people in the second and third row will too. I've got one last errand to run, which brings me to Home Depot. Yes, all of this would not bear a burden on a crossover, but it is nice to have the Escalade V's truck underpinnings for hauling these 6 bags of mulch, obviously very light, the 4 bags of pea pebbles, those are getting heavier, 2 bags of stone underneath the mulch, and lots of weed and pest control. And I will need to fold down the third row for this job, so I'll press and hold these power controls here, and really quickly the seats go flat so I can start loading. And that's everything, with plenty of room to spare. I just wish the tailgate closed as quickly as the seats fold. Now, after returning my cart, like a responsible shopper, I can confirm that the Cadillac Escalade V is Home Depot approved. And now it is time to put some fuel back in this 24-gallon tank. And though the EPA rates the Escalade V at 11 mpg in the city, 16 on the highway, and 13 combined, which this vehicle has achieved in the past, during my time with the car, I've seen 11.7 miles per gallon. And honestly, even with 13 miles per gallon, that only gives me a little over 300 miles on a single tank. I feel like this fuel tank should be a bit larger for the fuel economy we're seeing. And at current fuel prices of $4.39 for the required 91 octane gas, cost me $105 to fill this tank, but there's capless fueling to save me time. Well, crew, at the beginning of this video, I pondered what a supercharged V8 would bring to an Escalade's livability. And after quality time spent behind the wheel, I can point to a lot of fun, a little function, and a ton of fuel. Though it's less of a tangible value, the Escalade V's soundtrack is what my daughter would call so beautiful. And the force of acceleration is just hilarious. Whether making a pass or just getting some giggles out of your kids, the 682 horsepower V8 is ready to play. But all that power does come at the cost of premium fuel. And if the expense doesn't bother you, the frequency of fill-ups might. Speaking of cost, 160 grand is a heavy hit, but the Escalade V's standard features are worth it. Automatic opening and closing doors. They're really convenient, especially with kids. Super Cruise, it's a major relief for highway commutes or road trips, and the front seat massage, heating, and ventilation is welcome. The V doesn't really improve ride quality or practicality, but the truck-based Escalade is already dominant in those categories. There are very few faults to this family hauler, and those with the budget for it should really love the Escalade V lifestyle. I hope you guys have enjoyed this day in the life, and I will see you again next time.